Today, we're going to be painting our engine block, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. If you guys remember, in about 2 videos ago, I broke one of our pistons while installing it. The new one finally showed up. We're gonna be putting it in before we paint the engine today because I want everything totally set before we start putting paint on that. It is now the time that we've all been waiting for. The 8-piston assembly begins. Let's go. That's the best one yet. It's official. The 8th piston is complete. It is built. It is perfectly centered. I am so relieved that that actually worked properly the first time. Now we just gotta pop the rings back in this, throw it in the engine, and we'll have all of the pistons installed officially. Here we go. All 8 pistons are back in the engine. Look at that shine. That one actually went in probably the easiest out of every single piston that we put in on this block so far. I can now breathe a huge sigh of relief that the pistons are in, and very shortly here, we will be able to start painting the engine block. Now before we paint the engine, we gotta make sure that all the parts going on it are clean. And given that this is what the old oil pan currently looks like, we've got some work to do. After the better part of about an hour, we got our clean oil pan. Now I know it doesn't look totally spotless yet, and that's because there's a little bit of, old staining on here and some old paint, but once we throw a new coat of primer and paint on here, it is gonna look super, super nice. So here's a look of the oil pan after all of that cleaning. So much better than it was. So the next step in getting this part finished up is gonna be masking off all the areas that I don't want paint and then painting it. And after it's back on the engine, we can paint the block. We've got it ready to paint. It's all masked up. We got it right back there. I'm gonna throw on the old painting mask and we're gonna get this coated up. And for anyone wondering, I'm using this automotive primer from Rust-Oleum. It's a super high heat primer, so anything that's going on the engine, you're gonna need a really, really high heat primer on if you're painting it, because obviously engines get super hot. While that oil pan finishes up drying, I'm gonna start masking off the engine block to start the painting process on it. It's gonna take a little bit because this is obviously a very complex block. There's a lot of little screw holes and water pump gaskets and all the other fun things that I need to make sure are covered up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done now. All right guys, the time has come. We are going to paint the engine block now. Some of you may claim that I am desecrating the 350 by painting it yellow, but that's what I want. I want it to be yellow. I want it to be unique. I want this car to be what I want. And so we're painting the frickin' engine yellow, man. Finished laying down all 4 coats of that yellow engine enamel. It is looking really, really bright, super, super bright, a little bit even more than I expected it, but I really love this color. We're gonna now start taking the masking off because we don't want it to dry too much before we take all of the masking off. Everything looks like it came out really nicely covered, so let's start peeling it away. Here it is, guys, the final product. All of the masking is off. The camera does not do this yellow justice. I wish there was a way to show this a little bit better, but this color is just absolutely popping. So what we're gonna do here is attach that black oil pan underneath there once that's all ready to go. And then we've got those nice shiny chrome heads there that are gonna go up here to really complete the whole look. So we'll have chrome, yellow, black, and then all of the little accessories, belts, and those sorts of things will be black as well. That is how you paint an engine from scratch in your own garage. There's always ways to improve, and there's always new methods that I'm looking for. So if you guys know a better way to do it, make sure and leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you and see what you think about how I did this process, how I did the masking, and learn any tips and tricks from people who might have done this before. This was about a 3-day process, so it definitely takes a little bit of time if you're wanting to do this yourself, but it is totally worth it. I love having a nice custom engine under the hood. This thing is gonna look good, it's gonna sound good, and it's gonna perform good, and that's really what we're going for here. So if you like videos like this, make sure and subscribe, check out the rest of the series, and stick along for the ride as we finish building this 1975 Camaro from the ground up.